It's an everyday thing. It's an everyday thing. It's an everyday thing when you let your nuts hang.
Okay, so I want to be very clear here. No one, and I mean absolutely no one, outside of my husband and Erica Kirk has the power to shut me up right now. That's it. Two people. If you're going to make an appeal, you got to go to them, okay? That's what I just said is meant to be a dig to the donors that are making frantic calls, trying to politic this situation under control because they know I'm telling the truth, okay? Frantic calls from Seth Dillon. Oh my God. The truth is that Charlie was under immense pressure and he was facing financial threats over his shifting stance on Israel, over who he was hosting, from his podcast to people that were on stage at America Fest, Dave Smith, Tucker Carlson. That is reality, my friends. Again, want those people to know your money means nothing to me. I already said no to it. That's why I don't care to be in those circles. Make me persona non grata. I know what I did wrong. I looked you in your face and I said no to your money. Okay? Don't push me or I will name more names. What happens in the Hamptons is not going to stay in the Hamptons, okay? Bring in our movie poster. I know what you did this summer, okay? Got to add Josh Hammer's face to that poster as well because suddenly everybody's talking. So let's buckle up for some more indisputable facts, okay? People that were at this weekend soiree in which Aaron Wexler sent out some of the invitations to, they're confirming that Charlie was pressed. Now, this was a multi-day weekend, but they're all like, at every layer, Charlie was facing pressure, questions from Seth Dillon. There's no way around that truth that they were not happy with his position, his
Y'all better protect Candace at all costs because, it's getting hot over there.
modified position. I have it on first-person account that on the first day of the retreat, of which there were smaller meetings that took place, and then the retreat itself, Charlie presented and he explained that he felt that it was wrong that he couldn't publicly criticize Israel. He apparently used an example that if he tweeted, and again, we're riffing here, but something along the lines of Charlie said, if I tweeted, I think that Bibi Netanyahu should resign, that he would then be unfairly attacked. And Seth Dillon then allegedly pipes up and goes back and forth with him quite aggressively, saying because that would be anti-Semitic. I heard that after Charlie left, Josh Hammer was upset. Josh Hammer, I know for a fact, was a part of the beehive that was swarming him about people that he was having at his conferences. I know for a fact. So if you'd like to dispute that, Josh Hammer, and release your text messages and pretend that you were just chill and supportive and thumbs up, cool. I welcome you on this platform, okay? You are allowed to literally sit next to me and say, that isn't reality, and here's how it all went down when I was the greatest supporter and I never cared about who he had, even though I got destroyed in debate by Dave Smith on his stage. I was cool with that. I love free speech. It's amazing. Okay? I am offering you my platform to do that. I'm not here. I'm not in the business of smearing, okay? I need answers, and I don't.
Yeah, Candace talking too much now. She letting out too many cats out this bag. All the cats are, and you know what? The worst part about it is she's getting all this info firsthand from her friends at TPUSA, which is amazing because everybody's not a douchebag racist. Some people are just informants. They're just there. They my grandma, I used to go to my grandma's house and she always watching Fox News. And I'd be like, why are you watching them? And if you hate them, she said, because you got to watch the enemy. And it made sense. You don't watch the people you align with. You know what they talking about. You got to watch the enemy. Candace got somebody on the inside watching. And coming back reporting everything. That's how we got the chats. And she's calling them out. And they slowly starting to crack. And everybody, as soon as it's gonna come out that Charlie Kirk's wife has something to do with his demise, based on this lady.
Charlie's neck indeed did stop the bullet, without question. Okay, and this is going to dispel a lot of theories that are out there. And I'm telling you this 100%. Charlie Kirk was shot from the front, and the bullet did not exit, and at least a fragment of the bullet was recovered from his neck. And I'm going to tell you exactly where it was recovered from, right around here. So think about almost in line with your shoulder blade, right in the center. Now, why is that helpful? Because it gives us a bullet trajectory, okay? You went in here where you saw that, and it was stopped, and a fragment was pulled from, think right, if you're just touching your spine, in line with your shoulder blade. That leads us, obviously, to the part that he's maybe not being forthcoming about. They did not recover a bullet from a 30-06. They didn't recover a bullet from a 30-06. It just didn't happen, okay? If they had found a 30-06 bullet, Charlie's death certificate certainly would have reflected that. When the gun and the bullet are known, they are reflected onto the death certificate, okay? There is not one reflected onto Charlie Kirk's death certificate because they did not recover a bullet from a 30-06. Charlie's neck, indeed.
So, what do y'all think? Is this a conspiracy? Do you think he was shot from up close? Because, well, I mean, it depends on the distance. Because I know those bullets are relatively large. And from the distance that he shot, it still should have severed his neck in some form or capacity. And his spine. I've seen people get shot with lesser bullets at a distance and had a shattered femur or, you know. But I don't know. Maybe it was, he might have did a lot of neck curls, which I doubt. But hey, who knows?
Candace Owens says she doesn't believe Charlie Kirk was killed by Tyler Robinson because Kirk appeared to her in a dream. Yeah, this is what I wanted to get to real quick.
Said, had a vivid dream this weekend, and Charlie came to me and he told me that he was betrayed. And so for me, you don't have to believe that, but I do believe that. And it was the immediate sense I got, actually. And I don't know who exactly it is that betrayed him, but I also felt in the dream that it is soon going to be revealed, that it's actually inevitable that it is going to be revealed, that there is nothing and no one that is going to stop the truth from coming out, and it is going to have international consequences. Take that to the bank. Quote me on that.
Candace Owens says she doesn't believe.
Candace Owens thinks Charlie Kirk's wife has something to do with this. But like I said, the more she goes on about this, I think the further she is digging into a rabbit hole, and she's going to be down there for a while. But I don't know. I'm here for it. I want to find out. Is she going to be right or is she going to be wrong? But what do y'all think? I mean, if your wife has not, once they caught the guy, her investigation was like, oh, they caught the guy. It's either she's a blonde or she's in on it. And either could be true. or both could be true. Like, come on now. There's a lot of stuff surrounding. It's another clip I want to see.
I'm not saying that she didn't love her husband or anything like that, but again, she just had an interesting way of showing out how she felt about his death. And then there was her entrance at his memorial, which had a lot of people comparing it to a WWE style entrance. Kind of seemed like she was enjoying the whole thing, and again, fans were super suspicious. This was just the moment where fans started to put two and two together, wondering who stood to gain from most of this. And like I said before, fans are pointing fingers at Erica. For one, less than 2 weeks after Charlie passed, she was elected as the new CEO of Turning Point USA, and for a widow and an organization where they were supposedly grieving, that was a quick turnover. Plus, according to rumors, she also inherited Charlie's estate, which is reported to be more than $12 million. And according to more rumors, Turning Point has received millions of dollars in donations since Charlie passed, and as the new CEO of the organization, well, y'all can see where we're going with this. It's also interesting how silent Erica has been about all of it. For someone whose husband was murdered so violently, you'd think that she'd be up in arms fighting for justice, but instead it's been crickets from her. Do y'all want to know who's been doing the Lord's work to fight for justice? It's Candace Owens, that's who. She's been doing what everybody expected Erica to do. She's been being real loud about it. She has been putting the FBI and the government on their toes, and y'all, she's coming for them hard. But the really interesting part is her hints about how she knows who really set Charlie up to be unalived, and fans are convinced that it hints point straight to Erica. Now, Candace has been exposing stuff like, I'm not saying that she didn't love her husband or anything like that.
Anyways, jumping back into more oddities that occurred on that day, despite having these federal agents from Connecticut. Now, I have presented to you just thus far, right, that a lot of these witnesses that immediately spoke out to say, here's what happened, here's how many shots, here's what I heard, that they had strange connections to the government or like weren't from UVU at all, were coming from overseas, didn't really make sense. I was trying to understand that. And yesterday, of course, we were trying to figure out who was this mysterious woman that was allegedly seen helping the shooter change clothes. I got that one tip from an individual, completely unrelated, said, yes, there was footage of a person helping the shooter change clothes. And then suddenly we were able to discern, at the very least, that someone in the Broderick Lyman family certainly acknowledges that there was a woman, at the very least, who she suspected could have been an accomplice. She didn't say anything about the person changing clothes, but we can watch that clip again to hear what she says.
If you time how long it took him to get from that little part over to here, was way longer than it should have been. So I wondered if the girl had given him stuff, like if there is an accomplice. Sorry, you're filming.
And it said right here, that picture from Sam's across the street, he was right here.
Yep.
Okay, so we received a couple of tips pertaining to who
is CO dropping receipts. It's getting interesting, people.
that woman might have been, according to rumors circulating around Orem. Now, I want to be very clear. When we say that this is a rumor, I mean that you should take this information with a grain of salt. We cannot present it at face value because we don't have the footage, right? I cannot say this is a fact. I can say that this lead became more interesting to me and that the FBI should clarify things. It's that simple. Let us see all the footage. But they don't seem even remotely interested in trying to help us clarify anything. Anyways, the name that we had received was, it turned out, somebody that actually provided the only eyewitness testimony of having seen the shooter up close, limping. So it's possible, just to run the other side of things, that this woman captured both of them walking back to back and she just was walking near him and she had nothing to do with helping him change. That's all possible, and you should consider that possibility. We don't have answers. But there's something else that's interesting about her. Like I said, the testimony that she provided is interesting, and she is the only person that saw the shooter limping up close. And her name, and we know this because she spoke to the news, they all did, is Olivia Robertson Cobb Bishop. Let's listen to her testimony now.
I kind of realized the type of street I was on, a little bit more secluded, you know.
Olivia Bishop retraces her steps where she came face to face with Charlie Kirk's alleged killer.
Just looking over, seeing that he was limping, kind of being like, oh, okay. And then long black shirt, kind of thinking that's kind of weird. It's kind of super hot outside.
Bishop says something seemed a little off.
I did look over at him and he was kind of like that was his face, just kind of like not a smile or anything.
From the expressionless demeanor, long sleeve shirt during a hot summer day, to the limp.
It's kind of odd. I don't know. Like now that I think about it, it's just very like chilling to me.
Chilling after reading charging documents online and seeing this video of Robinson walking away from UVU after Kirk was shot. That's when she realized she'd been only feet away from the accused killer. Now she questions whether she could have done more.
Had I seen the imprint of a rifle down his leg, if I had looked at him a little longer, then...
Anyways,
So, was he carrying a rifle down his leg? Like, if he jumped off that building with a rifle down his pants, you would have seen it, and he wouldn't have been able to bend like he did, or he would have ripped his pants or something. Something would have happened. It wouldn't have, the gun would have went off something. But I mean, because it didn't look like he was jumping down with a rifle strapped on his back or anything. And did he take it apart and put it in his backpack and then go to the woods, put it back together just in case, and then he left it there? It just don't make no sense. A lot of this stuff ain't making sense because we saw the video of him jumping off that roof just a couple weeks ago and did not look like he had a rifle in his hand, but they found the rifle all put together in the woods that he came from. I don't know, it just seems very suspicious.